Joshua aussi, donc ne partage donc pas sa gloire avec quelqu'un. Bienvenue au 20h. L'une des stratégies sera donc mise sur pied pour donc briguer donc
Ok.
donc,
Qu'est-ce qui va donc se passer en Afrique avec vous, madame et monsieur? Bonsoir à tous et bienvenue pour cette émission.
Sur la coalition de l'opposition, plusieurs en ont parlé. Je suis candidat à cette élection. Les 11 autres candidats sont candidats à cette élection. Ils ont déposé leur candidature dans les règles et ils sont passés à travers les filets du Conseil électoral et du Conseil constitutionnel. Et aujourd'hui, il y a 12 candidats. Il ne faudrait pas vraiment venir à la conférence de presse de Joshua aussi, candidat, pour venir avec une distraction. Et je sais que les officines du Palais des Toudis payent certains d'entre vous pour mettre ça en avant. C'est une distraction. C'est une distraction à plusieurs niveaux. Premier niveau, c'est que si quelqu'un est sérieusement candidat, c'est que cette personne est consciente. En tout cas, moi, je le suis. Je suis conscient et je travaille tous les jours pour battre le président sortant, Paul Biya. Et quand le parti m'a donné sa confiance, à travers un congrès extraordinaire, certains des candidats étaient encore avec Paul Biya. Donc nous savions déjà à ce moment que nous allons les battre, eux et Paul Biya inclus. Deuxièmement, je me suis réjoui quand mes amis ivoiriens ont réussi à mobiliser les rues d'Abidjan. Je ne me suis pas réjoui parce qu'ils ont dû mobiliser les gens, non. Mais je me suis réjoui de ce que vous avez eu comme commentaire au Cameroun. Vous étiez émerveillés et fiers de cette démonstration de force pour demander qu'on augmente le nombre de candidats. Pour demander qu'on augmente le nombre de candidats de 4. Vous avez célébré. Certains d'entre vous ont même ouvert des bières ou des bouteilles de vin pour célébrer le fait que dans un pays frère et voisin, la population demande plus de candidats. Mais en même temps, ceux qui étaient en train de célébrer ce qui se passait en Côte d'Ivoire prenaient leur téléphone pour me demander « Alors, Président, l'histoire de la coalition, là, c'en est où ?» Il faut qu'on soit cohérent. Ne demandez pas seulement la cohérence aux hommes politiques. Vous-même, vous devez être des exemples de cohérence. Troisièmement, j'aimerais dire ceci. La démocratie, c'est de pouvoir donner, lors des élections, des choix et que les électeurs puissent faire des choix informés. Raison pour laquelle je suis devant vous aujourd'hui. Ce que tu fais, Joseph, et ce que d'autres font, c'est comme s'ils rentraient dans un restaurant et on vous donne une carte de menu ou un tableau où le menu est listé et vous vous énervez contre le servant ou la servante en disant « Mais qu'est-ce que c'est que ces histoires ? Vous ne pouvez pas avoir un seul menu. » Non, on vous donne le choix. Sur les 11 candidats, il y en a qui ont comme programme politique la jeunesse, il y en a d'autres qui ont comme programme politique la tribu, il y en a d'autres qui ont comme programme politique un changement de système. Moi, je suis de ceux-là. Il y en a qui veulent tout simplement le trône, il y en a qui veulent la République, comme moi. C'est à vous de faire le choix. C'est à vous de faire le choix. C'est à personne d'autre de faire ce choix que vous, les électeurs. Et ce choix est non négociable. Vous n'avez pas la conscience ou la maturité politique nécessaire si vous demandez aux candidats de faire le choix pour vous. Et finalement, j'aimerais dire, ou avant mon point final là-dessus, j'aimerais dire que le fait que deux candidats se mettent ensemble, qui sont des candidats déclarés, ne donne pas arithmétiquement le double du score à la fin. Si quelqu'un vote pour Joshua aussi parce que c'est le candidat de la rupture, celui qui veut le changement systémique, et demain, je veux me mettre avec un candidat qui veut juste le trône et s'en fout du système, qui veut juste remplacer M. Biya pour perdurer dans le même système. Ceux qui votaient pour moi parce qu'ils espéraient que ce changement de système arrivera à travers ma personne, ne vont pas voter pour moi si je me mets derrière quelqu'un qui ne présente aucune garantie de vouloir changer le système. Et d'ailleurs, ça va dans le sens inverse aussi. Si quelqu'un soutient un candidat parce qu'il assume le fait qu'il veut le trône et non la République, et qu'il veut juste devenir un autre Paul Biya pour reverser les dividendes à ceux qui sont proches de lui, si les gens sont avec lui parce qu'ils attendent ces dividendes, ils ne vont jamais venir vers moi qui demande un changement de système, qui demande plus de rigueur, qui demande de la transparence, etc. Donc vous comprenez que vous êtes dans la distraction. Que les 12 candidats présentent leur projet de société, leur programme politique, et qu'on débat là-dessus. Et que les Camerounaises et les Camerounais aient la chance, pour une fois, de pouvoir faire un choix informé le 12 octobre. Si quelqu'un vous entretient aujourd'hui sur le fait qu'il est en train de se battre pour coaliser les candidatures dites de l'opposition, posez-lui une seule question. Pourquoi est-ce qu'il est candidat? Parce que c'est le début même de la malhonnêteté d'être candidat et de se battre pour mettre des candidatures ensemble. Ok, et finalement, sur ce point, j'ai été long, mais ça démontre que la distraction de M. Biya et de son équipe fonctionne très bien, en tout cas chez vous. Finalement, sur ce point, j'aimerais juste dire une chose très simple. Joshua aussi est dans cette élection pour battre le système en place. Nous sommes à cette élection pour gagner. Nous sommes à cette élection pour proposer une nouvelle voie aux Camerounaises et aux Camerounais. Et nous sommes convaincus que nous arriverons. Nous allons y arriver avec le soutien des autres ou sans le soutien des autres. À ce jour, la candidature de Joshua aussi du SDF porte le soutien du CALAMO, du Cameroun Labour Movement, qui est quand même, c'est 11, c'est ça? Qui représente 11 des 13 confédérations syndicales de ce pays, dans l'immense majorité. Nous sommes avec le mouvement des forces progressistes, qui compte quand même une douzaine de partis politiques. Et entre-temps, nous avons eu non seulement des personnalités, mais plusieurs partis politiques. Je pense au moment où je vous parle, on parle de 9 partis politiques qui nous ont rejoints dans cette mouvance. Le professeur Takougang a été spécialement habilité dans l'équipe de campagne pour gérer ce volet-là. Donc si vous trouvez les partis politiques qui cherchent une coalition, comme c'est ce que vous aimez, envoyez ces partis vers le professeur Takougang. Nous allons les recevoir et nous savons recevoir avec les 2 bras ouverts pour construire ce que nous avons commencé à construire en 2023. Donc nous n'y allons pas seuls. Mais la coalition, ce n'est pas avec des candidats ou ce n'est pas forcément avec des candidats. Parce que tous ceux qui ont déposé leur candidature ont comme ambition d'aller à l'élection et de la gagner.
Will not participate in the so-called presidential election, which everyone now knows, including the International Crisis Group, that Biya will be declared the winner. Even the International Crisis Group has concluded Elekam, Atanganjipo, and the Constitutional Council will declare Mr. Biya the winner of the election, even if Mr. Biya personally, or even though Mr. Biya personally is not running. They are using Mr. Biya photos, they are using his statues, they are using his banners to do the campaign. No one has seen Mr. Biya. Mr. Biya has not publicly and personally stood in front of the camera or stand in front of the camera to proclaim himself as a candidate, and to tell the people of Cameroon and the world at large that he's running for re-election. Which is now unanimously, it's a unanimous conclusion and acceptance that they will declare him the winner of the election. The problems of Cameroon will not change because of elections. What the people of Cameroon need, what they deserve, and what they must do is to start the process of a regime change operation. Not through the elections, because the current electoral system is a fraudulent system, which Biya is completely in charge. Here is how it works. Mr. Biya has never campaigned for any presidential election, and he won't. Here is how they go about it. Mr. Biya sits in the presidential or unity palace in Yaoundé, if it's true that it's still there, will not make any televised address or interview to tell the Cameroonese people why he's seeking re-election. Okay? Everything will be social media post. He won't travel to the far north, or to the north, or to the extreme north. He won't travel to the east or to the west. He wouldn't even go to Littoral or to Douala. He wouldn't even go to the center province and tour part of the center province to tell the Cameroonese people why they should vote for him. Nobody will see him in public. They call the CPDM elites and they tell them, listen, you have this and this and this and this and this in your district. You have a university in your district. You have this hospital in your district. You have this secondary school in your district. You have this health care center in your district. Do you want to have that? You want to continue to have that? Or you want to lose that? We need 100% guarantee vote. Then they call the slaves, the colonial chiefs and fawns from the southwest of Ambazonia and from the northwest of Ambazonia. They will ferry them like ships, or lorry them like ships, or truck them like cows. Just like the colonial governor paraded them during the 20th May. They will ferry them to Yaoundé. They will meet with Atanganji Paul, and they will meet with Ferdinand Ngongo, the Secretary General at the presidency. Mr. Ngongo will tell them, you are Class A chief, you are Class A fund. We've given you, there's a secondary school in your village, there's a clinic in your village. If we don't get 100% vote from your village, from your community, we're going to remove that secondary school from your village and that healthcare center from your village and send it to the next village. Is that what you want? The chief will say no. So that chief and that fund, that colonial parliament, the parliamentarian, that colonial senator, that government delegate, that mayor, that DO, that SDO, that commissioner of police, that captain in the gendarmes, in the army, or in the B, will now go to his community in Ambazonia, whether in the southwest of Ambazonia or in the northwest of Ambazonia, and said, hey, here are the orders we have received. We need this secondary school. We don't want to lose the prestige of having a secondary school in our village. So that's how the corruption and the bribery and the manipulation is done. Coercion. That is taking a psychological gun pointing it to the people with social and psychological threat. Because having a secondary school in your village, it's now a glorious thing. So they've used your chief, they've used your fund, and they've captured the entire village and bind them to retain the occupation, to maintain the occupation, and to maintain the murderous regime. This is the game. The chief now and all the CPDM elites within these villages are now responsible to committing electoral fraud. All the CPDM elites in Manyun will commit electoral fraud to maintain their elitist privileges, to maintain their position, to maintain their chieftaincy titles. This is how they go about it. This is why Mr. Biya is guaranteed to rig the election, because it's been rigged at the grassroots level by all the colonial CPDM elites. That's why they have banned Maurice Kamto, and they have allowed only the puppets that are aligned. That's why they have not released the electoral list to the public. So nobody knows the number of people that have registered to vote, and so nobody will know the number of people that have voted. This is the game. Go read the International Crisis Group report. There are more problems ahead for Cameroon, because the person in charge of stirring up this problem, engineering this problem, the person who has created these problems, is being used to maintain a system that has crumbled. For the Ambazonian people, your forces will give you firm instructions as to what to do. But first, the elections are banned in Ambazonia. That means anyone living Cameroon colonial state and moving into the Ambazonian occupied territory to talk about voting for Mr. Biya or for Cameroon colonial elections, that is an act of a redeclaration of war on the Ambazonian people. What our people want is justice, an end to this conflict, a negotiated settlement that solves the problem once and for all. After that, if the people of Cameroon decide that they want a presidential election, parliamentary election, or municipal election, that is up to the people of Cameroon. Ambazonians don't want election. Even International Crisis Group has said this, that the Amazonian people have no reason to participate in the election. There's no reason. Why should they vote for people that have declared a genocide on them? Why should they vote for people that have declared a war on them? Why should they vote for people that have perpetrated crimes against humanity on them? Why should they vote and even contemplate or think about voting for those that have raped their children and raised down their communities? It's unthinkable. So firm instructions have been given. Going into the Amazonian territory, after 70,000 have been killed, more than 1.5 million displaced because their villages have been burned down. It's an act of provocation. It's an insult to the dignity of our people. So any such person, whether you're a man, you're a woman, going into the Amazonian territory to talk about colonial presidential elections, you're putting your life at risk because you're going there to make a mockery of the thousands that have been killed. Because you're going there as a beneficiary of the occupation system to make blood money in exchange, using the pain of the Amazonian people to maintain your privileges. You're putting your life at risk. You could be killed. The people will take revenge on you, just as Weber said. We will exact it on you. Just as Weber said, we will exact it on you. The people will take acts of revenge to seek for natural justice. Spare yourself. Don't provoke a people that are in pain, and you're responsible for that pain. All the Cameroon colonial senators, parliamentarians, DOs, SDOs, government delegates, mayors, the bees, the police, the army, the gendarmes, they are all responsible for the crimes that have been committed against the Amazonian people. The Regina Mundis, the Tabetandos, every single mayor and government delegate, every single DO and SDO, every single parliamentarian. These are the people that are responsible for your pain. These are the people that are responsible for the occupation. These are the people that are responsible for the destruction of your communities, your villages, and your towns. These are the people that are responsible for the destruction of your businesses. We must hold these people accountable. The Amazonian people must hold these people accountable. The lives of our children, of our mothers, is not a transaction. Ayoktabe, Mancho, Pamfo, Penterence, Benjis, they are not in jail as a transaction. For the beneficiaries of the occupation. Our people want freedom. If we can come this far and become an international contender, an international household name, when their own agent, Agbobala, is telling the Canadian House of Commons, this is what the people want. This is what the people want. When Kamto is openly acknowledging that the Cameroon bees, the Cameroon army, the Cameroon military, the Cameroon gendarmes, and the Cameroon police have committed human crimes against humanity in Ambazonia. They have burned down thousands of villages. When their own parliamentarians in their own parliament are openly saying, you send an army of occupation in Ambazonia. Here are the crimes they have committed. What have you done about it? They have abused women, raped young girls, burned down communities, killed mothers, arrested thousands, loot businesses. What have you done about it? Your resilience is what has kept you alive. Do not allow any human being, including your own chief or the phone from your village or community, to deceive you that Cameroon colonial presidential election will bring any change to your community. Have you received any change? Have you seen any change? Have you witnessed any change? Have you experienced any change since 1961? The only change you've experienced is more pain, more suffering, more humiliation, more deprivation, more poverty, deliberately imposed, deliberately engineered to keep you as an occupied people in a state of hopelessness so that you become land helpless, where you are so hopeless that that is the only thing you've known, and that's the only thing you expect. Permanence. That's not your destiny. God has something bigger for you. God has a bigger, brighter, greatest, glorious promise for you. Freedom. That is the ultimate human gift. When you have that, that is the only way you can be, do, have, and experience everything God has in store for you. The only way for you to live the life your Creator has for you is for you to first become free, because that is how you prove you deserve abundance. You deserve peace. True peace. genuine peace, lasting peace. It's only when you live in a secure and peaceful environment can your heart dream glorious dreams. Can your brain start to figure out how to take those invisible thoughts and desires to manifest them into physical realities? The reason you are under occupation is so that you are trapped in the circle of trauma. Your mind cannot dream, so that you live in a state of permanent fear, and your entire system is hijacked by pain and trauma. There's no capacity to desire anything better. This is why you fight, to break free from the entrapment of trauma, of pain, of suffering, so that you can evolve to what God wants you to be. This is why you fight. This is why during this period we must push harder, go further. This is why during this period, do not allow the agents provocateurs in the name of colonial government delegates, in the name of colonial SDOs, in the name of colonial senators, in the name of colonial parliamentarians. Do not allow these agents provocateurs to enter your communities or your territories or your environment or your blocks or your towns or your cities to provoke you. Chase them out. In your numbers, chase them out. In their CPDM meetings, chase them out. Red oil, eggs. In the absence of Ambazonian forces, do not allow them to come to your communities. Even if it's in the middle of the night, when they are holding those meetings in the dark hours, when you hear about it, mobilize, and chase them out. Those are the people that are responsible for your suffering and your pain. It's time to hold each and every one of them accountable. They should postpone their colonial presidential elections and seek for a negotiated settlement. First, we don't want elections. We want a negotiated settlement and an end to their war of occupation. Ambazonia is not Cameroon. So this is the time for all Ambazonian forces across the 13 states to stand up and put an end to this provocation. Once the forces start arresting these agents provocateurs, and sometimes arrest them and ask for prisoners exchange, arrest them and demand prisoners exchange, arrest these CPDM colonial elites that will be invading the Ambazonia territory for colonial elections. Arrest as many of them as possible for prisoners exchange. It's not a crime. It's part of the game of war. Cho is in prison. Ayok Tabe is in prison. Stop playing weak. Play the game. It's a political game. Why do you think they are keeping you in Norway? What crime has he committed? When Mr. Biya is there in Yaoundé, when Atanganji Paul is there in Yaoundé, when the Minister of Defense who deployed troops to Ambazonia is there in Yaoundé, what crime has Cho committed that Norway is still keeping him? It's a political game. The day Ambazonia forces will arrest Paul Achombang, the colonial mayor of Bamenda, the day Ambazonia forces will pick up the colonial governor, Ambazonia forces can put out a public statement. Norway would demand Cameroon through Norway would demand an immediate release of Dr. Cho in exchange for the release of Lille Lafrique. It's a political game. You want to play the game or you don't want to play the game? You want to play the game to win or you want to play the game to lose? Because the enemies and its international partners, they are monitoring your state of mind and your psychology. It's a game. That's why they are keeping Ayok Tabe. That's why they are still keeping Pan von Galanfo. Siseko Ayok Tabe Julius, Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba, Siseko Ayok Tabe Julius, Penn Terence, Mancho BBC, Benji and all the rest. They will only be released through a political negotiated settlement. Don't allow them spend one more day in jail because it's a political game. And Mr. Biya at this moment is not ready. There are things we can do to move the process of negotiation quickly, fast as possible. Don't sit and wait for Norway. Do things that will compel Norway. Don't sit and wait for Canada. Do things that will compel Canada. Don't sit and wait for Keir Starmer of the United Kingdom. Do things that will compel Keir Starmer. Don't sit and wait for Macron. Do things that will compel Macron. It's a game. And play to win. This is my message to the Ambazonian people today. All money plays day.
That you call yours, people can do what has been done to our children in West Cameroon. I call it West Cameroon because you will never take it out of our mouths again, because that is a territory in which we believe in freedom. To go out on the street and demonstrate is a basic right for us. And that is why we are saying that there are two Cameroons that came together. If you are telling us, like a state minister stood here last year and told us that what happened in Cameroon is like dropping a few cubes of sugar into a basin of water. Who is the sugar and who is the water? I'm asking the government bench of Cameroon, who is that you rape our children? My brother's daughter has been raped in Boya. I swear to you, the government of this country, does the president of this country know that the governors and the DOs and all the administrators who are sent to West Cameroon are out there behaving exactly like an army of occupation? Our people have no way to go. We have made all the efforts. Our ancestors and our forefathers trusted you to go into a gentleman's agreement that two people who considered themselves brothers could go to live together. If this is what you show us after 55 years, then those who are saying that we should break Cameroon are right. They are correct. The people of West Cameroon cannot be your slaves. The people of West Cameroon are not, you did not conquer them in war. If this is what you are saying that we should live in, I say simply no, it will not work. How do you have an army that's supposed to protect children step out there, beat them, and rape some? It is not heard of in any country. This is the 21st century, and anybody who does that and cannot be willing for his government to pay the price, we will exact it on you, because you are making us believe that we went to the wrong place.
The Minister Delegate in charge of Defense, I pay you my respects. Right Honorable Speaker, if I take the floor, it is not the first time, and on many of these occasions we have been to draw attention to what we've referred to as the problems of the Northwest and Southwest, but today particularly as concerns the Ministry of Defense. The original question I sent to you, sir, had 4 points on it. The question concerned the prisoners that were arrested in the Northwest and Southwest, their numbers, the treatment that were given them, and where they were being held. It concerned the soldiers that were sent to the Northwest and Southwest, not only as at the time when we were expecting that there would have been policing officers, we got military officers. That's the question that was sent to you. About a state of occupation, an army of occupation. That was the second point. The third point was about the punishment that would have been meted out to the soldiers who didn't follow your instructions. And the third was the general violence and the climate of violence that was developing in the Northwest and Southwest as a result of the increased military presence. And
so that is how positions harden. Because of the way people were killed, the way people were arrested, that is how positions hardened to now we have a separatist move. But the government still had an opportunity to find a solution. It was still easy for them to at least try to address the problem. But at no point in time have they attempted in finding a solution to the crisis. When they released us on the 31st of August, it was a golden opportunity to release all those who were detained. But they choose to release three of myself, Justice Aya, who used to be a sitting Supreme Court justice, was arrested and detained for 7 months without any trial. But they released some of us and left the others in jail. So all this hardened position in such a way that if you talk to the average person in Anglophone Cameroon, separation, it's now en vogue. You know, now the majority of the people would not settle for anything less than separation. The majority of the people now are asking for a referendum for them to determine their fate. But we still believe that something can still be done. Notwithstanding the situation, we can at least have a dialogue. We can at least have a negotiated settlement. You know, the diaspora living in Canada also would have a role to play. You know, because they are very influential, they have the money, they have a voice, that we can involve them also in trying to see how we can find a holistic solution. So the problem cannot just be solved internally without including the diaspora. I'll give you an example. Cameroon has a way of blacklisting Cameroonians by birth who are out of the country. Yes, some of them might have a dual nationality, but we have Cameroonians who have arrived at the airport with a visa and they were sent back because they encourage descent abroad. We cannot solve the problems in Cameroon without addressing the issue of the diaspora. We need to find a way that we would grant amnesty or clemency to those who are living abroad who have not been convicted but who are in a blacklist by the government, meaning that there are people who have parents in Cameroon, their parents die, they cannot come to Cameroon for fear of being arrested. So if these people cannot come to Cameroon as we know, they would rather prefer to come to Cameroon, which is Ambazonia. So we believe that the government of Canada can do a lot in trying to create an enabling environment, in putting pressure on the government to call for a dialogue, and at best ask the people of Cameroon, ask the government to organize a referendum.
Yes, and thank you very much. Unfortunately,
if you're asking my personal opinion,
my personal opinion, to keep Cameroon one, must be divisible. Because it's a cliche that Cameroon is one and indivisible, because it's not true. Culturally, we are divisible. Language-wise, we are divisible. The law-wise, we have inherited that. So anybody who says Cameroon is one and indivisible is a fallacy. And so we would have to handle that issue very squarely and objectively. And that's what I call the truth. The truth must prevail. There is no doubt that there are people of both sides, that cherish their heritage. And the only way of keeping Cameroon together is to respect the respective heritages that we do have. If you're asking my person,
rise to the day, shake, no day. Amazonia stands strong, we're marching forward, where we belong.
We stand like valiant soldiers to lay our lives to ensure that their blood won't spill in vain.
Amazonia will shine.
The mothers who scream for their daughters, the fathers who are on shore where their kids are detained, wouldn't mourn in vain.
Will be sent, shake no day, until the very end. The cruise boys sing.
I told you before. When the time comes, they will come to us.
Where they vex, your whispers they jam. Dreams scatter like ashes for night where they cold. Oh, break scatter like branch for storm. Now bad people and innocent they suffer. Oh mama, Amazonia, your heart they pay. Tears they fall like a river, like sister.
I know my national security advisor always reminds me I shouldn't utter certain words, but I say them so don't forget.
Dr. Cho, Sissiko and others, them train them but them no feedback. Them voice now like thunder, where they under dark clouds. World where the town face go
because I know
they
are trying to take me down.
Children, they suffer.
But even if I'm not around, don't forget.
Amazonia, your heart they pain. Tears they fall like a river, like the sky they cry again. IDPs and refugees they walk out widows, they hold space where they empty, them cry go they echo. For they talk where they all know. Inside the shadows,
you don't owe them child
small
support.
fire they grow. Freedom they grow.
Don't forget the crimes they committed against us. We, this generation, will defeat Cameroon in battle.
Amazonia go stand gidigba, you no go fear night. Oh mama, Amazonia, your heart they pain. Tears they fall like a river, like the sky they cry again. IDPs and refugees they walk out.
The 18th of number 8 month, 2025. Now begin them with a great under the leadership of LG Capo, but they don't go have it today. And the fresh harvest.
They said they could fight. They said they had trained bees. They had United States provided tanks and warplanes. We want them to fight. We invite them to fight. We invite them to fight. Where them
son, una conspiracy, we go in. I'll break boys to the world for the crown. Wanna flag there.
Welcome to ACN.
sommes déjà presque arrivés à la fin de cette édition spéciale, l'une des chaînes sociopolitiques. Alors, bienvenue donc pour la prochaine.